Welcome back, everyone. How are you? How's it going? Happy, is it Wednesday? Wednesday. This day has flown. And you know what? I'm a little bit like off. I feel like I'm off my kilter. I got vaxxed yesterday and it hit me. It hit me hard, actually. So that happened yesterday, but we are here. We are back. We are live with you in day 3 of Build Your 7-Figure Dream Team. Super exciting. So as people are joining, I know it takes a few minutes for everyone to join. Let's check in. How's everyone doing? How are you feeling? What did you guys think about the questions that are being asked? Are these ever questions you ever asked yourself? Tell us in the comments. Like, what did you think? What discovery did you have for yourself? I know that's a lot of questions, but just tell us what you think. Yeah.
And I love how the words are working out. Have you put them in your phone?
Yeah, let me tell you, Alexis, I was looking through them this morning and some last night, but we've got some really great words that people have come up with, the clarity words, to have them show up as their best defined self in any situation that they're in. Hina Fatima says, staying positive, focused, and resilient, because she doesn't want to give up. She knows she can do it, and she knows everything will be fine. So that's her 3 words. And Amanda, we know Amanda's playful, confident, and patient. That's a good one. So can you imagine when you're using these words and you come in with playful, confident, and patient, how would you be able to interact with your coworker, your team worker, your children, your spouse? What kind of new conversation will you be having and receiving when you're in that mode? Rachel says confidence, gratitude, and joyful. Yes, I love the gratitude. And then we've got Debana. She says determined, engaged, and present. She wants to be in the moment.
That's my word. That's like my word of 2021. It usually is my word every year because it's so important to me.
Yes.
So good.
Yeah. We got Thera says loving, focused, and joyful. Zora is saying curious, sociable, confident. I like that. Curious. Great. I love curious, because if we come in as if we don't even know what to expect and just be open with it, it's a whole nother listening we have in a conversation, right? And that's when we create possibilities and opportunities for ourselves and for our community or whoever we're around, is when we come at it very curious, right? Amna says determined, persistent, focused. A lot of those determined, focused, right? Getting a lot of those. Yeah, present. Umber says present. Oh, persistent, committed, and resilient. Let's see. I don't know if I can go through all of these, but there's quite a bit. Debbie says confident, curious, and patient. So a lot of see if there's a lot of that confidence that they want to have, that influence. When you're confident, you're more influential. You gain more respect. You feel more confident in the decisions that you make. And one of those things as leaders, there's no wrong decision. Imagine living a life of really embodying that there's never a wrong decision. All right. So think about that for a little bit. How many times have you made a decision and then changed your mind? That's what it is. You can say, I'm going to do this, but you know what? I just got new information. Maybe that's not what I need to be doing. I need to do this instead. What is it that we say? Plot twist. We need to pivot, right? So think of it that way. Don't be afraid to make a decision. Whatever you decide now can always change later, and you can always learn. It may take you down a path that you weren't expecting or didn't want for yourself, right? But now you know. How many times have I made the wrong decision, Alexis? Have I said, oh, we should do this, we should do that? And then we're like, oh, we probably shouldn't have done that. But that's okay. Now we know we're not going to do that again. Or I've hired the wrong coach, didn't work, realized that they weren't aligned with my core values. That's okay. I just know now that next time I hire a coach, we are aligned with core values of how we want to function and how we want to be. Right? It's really important to understand that. Now I know I'm better at deciding who I want to be around, because I want to align with people with similar core values.
And now you can ask, right? Like you're always taking the learning. And
Yeah.
if I take the learning, then it's not a failure. It's not it's worth going through that experience to take the learning and now apply it to a number of different situations. So today,
Yeah. Before I forget, those of you who are new, because we had a lot of people join in last night and this morning. I don't know if you know that, Alexis, but we saw a lot of people come through last night and this morning. So if you're new and this is your first day on for day 3, you can always go back and listen to day 1 and day 2. In the group, on the top, it says guides. Click on the guides. And we have sectioned it off to where you get to meet who we are. You get to find out about our bonus challenges that we're offering that you have until Friday to do. Some of it's we're going to announce on Thursday, some of it on Friday. And then you get day 1, you'll see the video that we did, the live that we did. You'll see the homework. You'll see visual recaps. So that helps you fill out your workbook. So workbook. Where's the front page here? I can't find the front page, but here's the workbook for day 3. Okay, so here it is. There's the front page. You want to make sure that you've got your workbook. It's 22 pages, guys. Ladies, 22 pages. We are really doing hardcore work here today with you. So if you don't have it, then ask your concierge. Now you're asking, well, who's my concierge? And what is a concierge? Well, just put up on the comments, I don't know who my concierge is, or I don't have a workbook, and Rachel or Randy, who are on our team, are here to support you to make sure that you've got your workbook, that you're registered, that if you want to have a conversation with us, we've talked to already many of you over the phone or in the DMs. We really enjoy having those conversations. Like we said, it's a close-knit group. We don't want to grow really big. So we want to make sure that we know each and every one of you, and you get to know us as well. And so that we can support you in the things that you're up to. And every day we give you homework. Many of you are doing them. Many of you are posting them. Make sure that you are posting them in the homework thread. And you want to start getting all that caught up by tomorrow before we go live. Because tomorrow before we go live, we are going to announce some scholarship winners into a program that we have that you get to work with us. So, and those are awarded to those that are the most engaged and are doing the work. We want to reward you for showing up 1,000%. We came in with our 1,000%. You met us at that 1,000%. So you're going to be rewarded for that. So make sure that you've gotten through those. Did I miss anything else? I think I covered it all.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
And I'm going to check in the comments while you start recapping yesterday to see if any questions come up.
For sure. So yesterday we were talking about showing up with influence and recognizing the things that are within your control, both in your business and in your personal life, and what is out of your control. And what do we do with that? We let it go, right? With the things that are out of our control, we can also ask ourselves, can we influence it in a positive way? And how are we going to do that? So we went really deep into those kind of key areas. And we're going to take what we learned in day 1 and day 2, and we're really going to kind of bring it together today. And we're talking about creating that dream team vision. So when you read the title of this masterclass and you thought dream team, what did that mean to you? Whether you currently have a team and you have an idea or you have expectations of how you are hoping, to progress with your team, or you're slowly building your team, or you're just thinking about adding people to your team. What does that mean to you?
Yeah.
Right? How are they working together? How are they working with you? What are the key components?
Alexis, I had a conversation with one of our participants that last night, and she was like, I don't have a team yet. I'm like, yes, you do. You don't even realize it yet, but yes, you do. Whether it's your family, your friends, your coworkers, whatever that is, that's when we're talking about dream team. I want you guys to really expand your thinking here. Get into your growth mindset, okay? Because team is not just your team that's following you in your business or your career, okay? Team is also how you set up your family, how you set up your community of friends, whether you have coaches, mentors. This is really important for you guys to understand that when we're talking about dream team, we're talking about all of it, your family, everyone. Okay. And I want you guys to think about this. Okay. Think about the celebrities that you guys follow. Think about, okay, Beyonce. Think about Tony Robbins. Think about Elon. Think about Oprah. Think about all these people. They have a team of people with their family, with their friends, their business, whatever it is. They've got a team of people to create that CEO lifestyle for themselves. Even if you're not leading a business, you have a team of people. You have a team of people that are around you, so that are serving you. Maybe it's somebody who's coming and doing your lawn, or maybe it's somebody that's walking your dog. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there, right? My kids, they're part of my team. They do their laundry. They're old enough, they can do their laundry. They're teenagers, so they need to, right? So some of you have small kids, not there yet. It'll happen. So, think about that. I want you to really broaden your horizon. When you're thinking about dream team, it's not just in your business or in your career.
Because here's what's happening, guys, and this is what we've seen over and over again. And this is why we choose specifically to work with women, because we tend to take on so much. We tend to put ourselves on the back burner, our own personal needs on the back burner. And we don't think about, we realize on an intellectual level, right? I always talk about that idea of the oxygen mask, right? When you're on a plane and they tell you, in case of an emergency, make sure to put your oxygen mask on first before assisting others. This makes sense. If you run out of air, you cannot continue to help other people. It's the same thing in our business and in our life, right? But in reality, are we doing that? Typically, the answer that I'm finding, and Mehreen, when we're talking to our clients, is no, right? The kids are taken care of. My partner is taken care of. Okay, taking care of my team, serving my clients. Okay, but when is the time that you're taking care of yourself? Because if something happens to you, what's going to happen to all those other people that you lead, support, and serve? Right? So, just like Mehreen said, when we're talking about dream team, we really want you to expand here. We know the interconnectedness of life, you cannot deny. So if you are fighting with your partner, right? You have a blow up before you go to work. What happens when you get to work? Right? Most of us, we put on that happy face. We try and push that argument to the back, right? But depending on how bad it was, it rears its ugly head throughout the day. We lose focus. We lose productivity. We might actually snap on, the people around us, or we're just not our normal selves, right? I always found it interesting when people, I'm very pick up on people's energy. And so many times I might say, oh, is everything okay? And then, to a friend or to a coworker, and they're like, yeah, why? But it actually turns out something did happen that they were struggling with. Oftentimes we don't hide it as well as we think we are, right? And that's just in terms of maybe our mood and our interaction. What happens when we neglect our health? What happens when our marriage falls apart or our relationship actually falls apart because we're so focused on our business, right? So when we are talking about this dream team, like Mehreen said, it's this big picture dream team. How are we managing all those moving parts, all those moving pieces, including our own self-care? And what does that look like? And who can we rally around to support us?
Yeah.
Okay. So in starting that, now, if you do have a team, right? You're already leading a team, whether it's in your business or whether you're in corporate, you may want your team to be more self-led, more self-directed, more independent, but you still find that you're doing and taking on things yourself, right? Why is this? Typically, we find it boils down to three main reasons. Now, if you're in your workbook, this is a place where you can it is a fill in the blank. So you're able to fill those things in. Top three reasons why your team is not more self-led. Number one, due to perfectionism and control, right? Where are my perfectionists at? I know you're out there. It's that,
recovering perfectionist.
We're backwards here. I'm secretly doing this, right? I love you, Mehreen.
I know.
You may have that, like, not so much that, you like things a certain way, or you may have said to yourself, I'll just do it myself. It's quicker, right? Or I want it done a certain way, so I'll just do it myself, right? Or your team starts something and then you take over and completely change it and completely, do it completely differently.
What's talking about me?
What happens when that happens, though? What effect is that having on your team? Right? A number of things. They feel like that trust, that you don't trust them. You end up, even if you have a good working relationship, you kind of get that feeling like, well, she's just going to redo it anyways. So I'm just going to kind of slap something down, hand it in. I know she's going to change it all anyways. Right? And you don't want people operating on your team like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you that perfectionist leader? Is it hard for you to relinquish control to somebody else? And I get it, right? Our businesses are our babies. It's so hard. Nobody can do a good job as me, right? And it's just because you care so much. This is not necessarily a bad control thing. It's just like you so badly want it to work, to succeed. You've put so much time into it already, right? So we know it's coming from a good place. But are you identifying in this conversation? Okay.
You can also look at this at your home. Like when the kids are doing the dishes, I know I can pack a lot more dishes in that dishwasher than the way they put it in. But I'm like, it's better done than perfect. At least they're doing the dishes, guys. Like, at least they're doing it. My husband was when I'm such a perfectionist, right? OCD. I'm recovering. Alexis has put me in my place many a times. And that's what's great about working with a coach. So, one of the things my husband said, he's like, I felt like I couldn't do anything right. And I was like, oh my God, I caused that. I caused that type of feeling that he started losing confidence in himself, because no matter what he did, I would say, well, why would you put it that way? Put it like this. Blah, you can fit more. He was like, I can't do anything right, woman.
Yeah.
I was like, the impact was that he just felt like, what's the point of me doing it? She's going to do it over.
Yeah. And you know what? I totally identify with that, Mehreen. I wouldn't class myself as a perfectionist necessarily, but sometimes this comes out in certain areas of our life. And for me, I totally identify. I had a relationship when I was maybe in my mid to late 20s, before I met my husband. And I remember my boyfriend at the time saying, well, what is my purpose here? Like, you do everything. I was raised to be a very independent, strong woman. And I just took that. I took that and ran with it. I can do everything myself. I can open up my own doors. I can open up my own jars. I can protect myself. I can do all the things I need to do, and I really realized a valuable lesson in that relationship is that there other people feel like they need to feel as though they can contribute as well, that they have a role. Otherwise, they're not going to stick around. They're not going to be invested. Right? So such an important role that I learned in my personal life that I always remind myself in my marriage, but also as a leader, right? That people want to feel like they have a purpose, that they want to feel that they're valued, that their input, that their work, that their contributions are valued and appreciated. So important. So you may not find yourself.
I got to put this one on, but I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but this is what we're talking about. I take over all the time. My husband says, oh, here she comes. I might as well get out of the room. I've shifted, and now she's shifted this quite a bit. See the impact of what your actions, and you're saying he never wants to be around me. He doesn't want to spend time with me. He's not talking to me, whatever. And we don't realize that maybe we need to shift something about ourselves. And you can discover that when you open that conversation with them and find out why. Why is it that way? And when they say it, don't get defensive. Whatever they're saying as a leader, this is what we teach our clients. You have to listen to them because what they're saying is their truth. If you want to be heard, you have to hear them first. That's their perception, and you have to take it with a grain of salt. And you have to say, you're absolutely right, and I'll take responsibility for that. I will take note and do better. That's not what I wanted to, how I wanted to come off. I don't want you to walk around eggshells. I don't want you to leave the room, right? We can be responsible for our actions. And when you get into communication with them and start, acknowledging that they're right, then they start to listen. Oh, she's trying to change. Oh, she is trying to, she's not doing this on purpose, right? Then things start to change. Your relationships start to change. With me and Alexis, I was kept changing everything, taking whatever. And she finally said, Mehreen, you make me feel like I can't, every time I put something together, it's not perfect. You're going to redo it anyway. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I did not realize that that's what I was doing. Right. And here I'm thinking, why I have to do everything?
And here's the thing, guys. Not everyone is going to speak up like that, right?
Yeah.
Marie and I have a really special relationship, and that's why we work so well together, is that we can say, whoa, lady, like, we need to back up here. This is what's happening. We can do that because we've built the trust. We don't always have that, especially if you have new people on your team. If we're looking at that work environment, they're not going to say that to you, right? So you do sometimes need to take a step back, right? Like we've been doing this week. Take that step back, show them how you want it to be done, and explain why it needs to be done that way, or why it will work that way, right? Oftentimes, once we understand, and this goes for your relationships, anything, once we understand it, right, then you can start making that rapid progress forward. Okay. So perfectionism and control, a biggie for a lot of people. The second one is people pleasing. Right? So you so you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. You don't want to feel as though you're burdening them. I'll just do this myself because I already gave them 2 other things to do today. But you but see, we find ourselves in these things, and we're works in progress. But if we don't recognize them, we can never begin to shift and grow, right? So do you find yourself in that people pleasing where, hey, maybe you've hired these people, you're paying them their, weekly or biweekly salaries, and yet you're not putting things on their plate because you don't want to burden them. You're not sure how they're going to react. All of those feelings, or in your own relationships, right? I learned very quickly, my kids are young, but I would pay attention to their milestones. They're going to contribute to the family because that's what a family does. And that's how I want to teach them versus, oh, they're only 3, they're only 6, you'll keep saying that forever, right? So recognizing, again, that contribution is so important. Do you find yourself just taking tasks off because you feel bad, right? Because you want to seem like the cool boss, the cool mom, the cool wife, right? So people pleasing can be a reason why your team is not at more self-led, right? Or more independent, because you're actually not giving them enough responsibility.
Yeah, let me tell you one more thing about people pleasing. Mm-hmm. If you feel like you don't know what it is that you want to do, you don't know what your goals are in the future, you don't know what your purpose is, you don't have any clarity of your identity, you've been people pleasing. That's a symptom of people pleasing. And you've just been going along, well, my parents told me to do this. Yes. My husband said that I'm good at that, so that's what I should do. Or, that's what my boss said I should do, so that's why I'm doing this. Whatever those things are that, that you're stuck in, or because you have this belief that this is what you're supposed to be doing because society told us to, or your parents grew up doing that, and now you don't know who you are, what direction you want to go. This is a symptom of people pleasing, and it causes overwhelm, burnout, and self-worth. You don't know your self-worth anymore, confusion and anxiety. Yeah.
It's huge, right? I don't know if you guys, I have a girlfriend that is like this classic people pleaser. And I always say to her every time we get into the conversation, and I'm like, how do you like your eggs? I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Runaway Bride, an oldie but a goodie with Julia Roberts, right?
Yeah.
And she just morphs into this person, whoever she's dating. She dates the rock star, so she becomes that groupie. She dates the teacher, so she becomes the student, and all these things. And she finally is like, I don't know how I like my eggs, because she just likes whatever the person she's with. Yeah, I like that too, right? How do you like your eggs, right? So I love that you brought this up, because sometimes we don't recognize that. We don't recognize that as a symptom, but it absolutely is.
Yeah, really important to recognize these things as a leader. Let's move on to the third one.
Yeah. The last one is a lack of clarity of your team's strengths, right? So not really knowing what maybe their passions are, what they're really good at, or just what they love doing, right? We get so tied into these job descriptions that we forget to say, hey, what do you want to work on? What would you love to try, right? We look and we hire for the skills people have, but just because they're good at it doesn't mean that they like doing it, right?
Yeah.
And when we're, as a leader, I feel like it's our job to make sure that our team is feeling good about their contributions, that they're growing from their contributions. And, this is when you don't know your team. And I feel like this dates back, where that the division between like the leader and the boss and the employees, and you don't mix, you don't find out about personal information. Like all of that is such an old school style of thinking and leading, right? Where there's that clear, like I'm up here and everybody else is down here.
Right.
We need to close this gap and find out.
We just need to be right here.
Right? What are they passionate about? What do they enjoy? What are they really good at? And you've not seen before. Because when people contribute, people, what's that saying? People support what they create, right? Like when they have a hand in it, when they feel as though they're creating something. And so if that creation is in line with your vision and mission for your business or for your family or whatever it is, they're more tied to that vision as well, because now they have a hand in creating it.
I want to give 2 examples of this.
Yeah.
Okay. First, the personal one. Imagine I don't know how old your kids are, but mine are teens, and we want to plan a vacation. Now, I could just plan it all. That's so much easier because I can just plan it all. I know where I want to go. I know where I want to stay. I know how we're going to get there. I can just do all of it. And they just follow along. Or I could get my family, and then they're like, I don't want you to go there. It's going to be boring, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? And then I'm like, what the heck? I thought I did this amazing vacation for all of us, and it didn't happen. Or I can get them involved. Let's choose a place. This is what we can do right now. Blah, blah, blah. These are our options. Maybe I should say these are our options because I've already done the homework for what our budget is, right? Now they're involved, and now they're doing the research, and now they're coming up with the ideas of what we're going to do. What are the places that we could possibly stay at? What is our budget, price range? And now they are involved. Now, do you think that they'll be excited about packing their bags and going? Because now that they're involved, absolutely. Right? It's going to be a whole nother level of energy going, right? Now think about this for your team. If you have a business or you are leading a team in a workplace, when you know what the goal is, right? You're a leader because you're visionary, you're strategic, you know what your goal is. Now, if you're sitting there and just saying, okay, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, I need you to make sure that's done. And that you're just delegating, but they don't really understand why they're doing it, how they're doing it. They're not even involved with what the bigger vision is. Something that you need to check about yourself, because once you start to bring your team in and say, I'm thinking about doing this. And then the team says, well, how about this? Well, how about that? And they make that vision even bigger or even brighter. Then you can say, that is really excellent. Can you take that on? And I can support you. Or don't forget to use this teammate is really good at that. They can support you. Now you know who's strong and getting everybody on board. Let's take a vote. Is everybody on board with this? Does this look like the place we need to go? Now they will do the work because they're on board. It was their idea. You believed in them and you're supporting them through that. That's different kind of leadership. And that's what you want to look at building for yourself, not only in the workplace, in your home, and with your friends and family. That's what we're talking about. The dream team, that's when it's going to start. Oh my God, life is easy, freedom and ease, because you let go controlling and pleasing everybody. You're just making it work. You're holding the space for things to just work. I'm off with my 2 examples.
So good. So good. So did you identify yourself in there? I saw a couple comments coming in. One was, how about a controlling people pleaser?
There's Cassandra.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, that's good, right, Cassandra? That's what I'm saying. Collaboration. Yes, somebody said collaboration. Yes, I can't see who the name is because it says Facebook user. I think there's a button on top that says allow StreamYard something so that they can see your profile, so that we can see who you are. I'm sorry, it doesn't pop up unless if you do that.
So now I want you to think, guys, what kind of leader are you? So do you fit into one of those 3, or is there something else that what kind of leader are you with your team? And I want you to kind of, again, think of team in that broad sense. and just jot down in your notebook, or if you've got the worksheet, the workbook printed out, there's a little space in there. So jot down a couple of points. What kind of leader are you? And if you're struggling, the next question is, how would your team describe you? How would your family or your friends describe you? Right? This is another way of kind of coming up with the type of leader that you are. And if you have no idea, I did this exercise a few months ago. I was doing this course and they suggested, and I was like, this is the funnest and greatest thing ever. They said, like, message your 5 closest friends or ask your family, what 5 words would you use to describe me? It might be really enlightening. And you might be really surprised as to what comes back. But when you kind of start to see these consistencies, like maybe half of them use a certain word, right? You're like, I never thought of myself as that, like patient, let's say they're all like, you're patient is a word. I never really thought of myself as patient, but obviously I am if multiple people are recognizing this in me, right? I think the exercise was send it to 50 people. I think I sent it to like 7 girlfriends. And it was actually quite funny because there was 3 or 4 words that came up over and over and over again. Sometimes the exact word. So it really kind of gives you an insight and even gives you maybe that bolster of confidence as well. If you think you have this strength, but you're not really sure, or you think you're this kind of leader, yes, this is how I'm being perceived.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up, Umber brought up a good point, and this may resonate with many of you. She said, is there such a thing as the opposite of people pleaser? She said, I tend to make people angry, right? Too blunt at times, recovering addict in this area. So she's talking about the people pleasing, rebel in some deep trouble at times. Okay, so I'm thinking what's happening here is, here's what I know. When people are angry, it's usually coming from that they're not aligned with something. They're dealing with something. It's not a response to you, but it's what they're being impacted with. And also recognize that Umber, I know you, and I think you're not the eldest, but you're very headstrong, just like I am. I'm the eldest of 5 siblings. So am I bossy? I absolutely am, because I was told to take care of everybody. So what I had to discover for myself, because my sisters even said this to me, like maybe 5 years ago, they're like, you're just so bossy. And I realized, I was like, because it's how I was brought up to be. So if that's how you're showing up with other people, that you're always delegating, telling them what to do, check yourself and check in with the other person and find out if they're aligned with it. Because sometimes it's just our way of being. We don't even realize we're doing it. Mm-hmm. So you want to recognize that and see how can you change that around. So for me, it comes off automatically. I usually tell people, like, I'm not trying to boss you around. It's just, I just come up with the things and it just comes out. So if you don't want to do it, that's fine. So I kind of like precursor with that. But I really want to say, well, what do you think about it? Or what do you think if we did this? Because now you're giving them the opportunity to think about it and respond with their opinion. And now you're gaining that respect. Because when people are angry, it's usually because they're dealing with something that they don't like, and they don't know what their emotion is coming from, but it triggered something, and you just get curious. Just like, I said something that I think made you upset, and I'm not sure why. And you have to hear from them what it is, and start listening, and then repeat back what it is that they're saying. Because once they feel validated and acknowledged, I mean, I'm going into like coaching here, but once they feel validated and acknowledged, then they stop. You say, is there anything else? Is there anything else? Once they stop, then you have the space to say, may I now share, where I was coming from? Because they will not hear you until they're heard.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right.
Great comment there. So,
yeah. So now, ladies, now that we have been thinking about the type of leader that you are now, right? How you think others perceive your leadership style, whether this is in your family, whether this is leading your team at work. What kind of leader do you want to be, right? Think back to day 1 and day 2 and the things that you've discovered about yourself this week. What are the qualities that now align with the best of who you are? And how do you want to be showing up? Okay. And this may be worlds apart from the leader you are and the leader you want to be. And this could just be little tweaks and little shifts and differences in where you're spending some of your energy and focus, and where you're paying a little bit more attention. Okay, so what kind of leader do you want to be? And what qualities are aligned with the best of who you are now? Okay, so your clarity words for yourself, those being words, they're to represent the best of who you are or who you aspire to be, right? You may say, I know at my core, I am a patient person, right? But circumstances, whatever it may be, I've not been patient lately. So I'm going to aspire to be more patient, right? This is something I will remind myself when dealing with tantruming toddlers, right? So what kind of leader do you want to be? Because we know that high performers navigate social situations, so any interactions with others, with confidence and grace. Okay, confidence and grace. That's in your workbook. And so similar to the exercise that we did with the clarities, the self words, we want you to come up with 3 interaction words.
And put it pointed out here. Page 7. You want to put it, right here. Everything's backwards and mirrored. It's right there.
Yeah. So what are 3 words that will now define and guide how you will engage and treat others that you meet in life? This includes your loved ones, your team, and even just strangers or acquaintances. Okay. So these are interaction words. I like to think about this as, what experience do you want to create every time? Like, what is that experience? What do you want to remember to bring to that conversation, to bring to the situation? And come up with 3 words. If some are popping in your mind, throw them in the comments so that we can see. Because, and then like we got you to put it in the label, I want you to either attach these to your label, or if they're, let's say you have a staff meeting, every day or every Monday, put it in a few minutes before that staff meeting starts so that you can see those interaction words, remind it yourself what you want to bring into the interaction. This is so, these exercises, they are very simple, but they are so effective. 2 years ago now, actually, my son was started kindergarten, and at 2:45, all the parents would, gather at the fence and wait. They'd send out the kids one by one. And so I set this alarm in my phone for 2:40. So typically it would go off either just as I parked at the school or as I was walking to the fence.
It's 2:40 now. Where's your alarm?
My husband's going, so hopefully his is going up. No, my phone is actually muted today. It's off.
Thank you.
Ding dongs. So this went off, and I had it in there for 2 years. My son is now in grade 1. So through junior kindergarten and senior kindergarten, every single day, Monday to Friday, this went off at 2:40. And it reminded me how I wanted to show up when I talked to the other moms and the other dads that are standing at the fence, right? Because in September, they were all strangers. I think I knew one person. They were all brand new people I was going to meet. But in my mind, we have really wonderful neighbors, and my one neighbor has adult children, and they have friends for, their kids are in their 30s, friends since kindergarten, and they're friends with the parents, and they've become best friends because their kids have been friends for so long. And I really thought, like, we've settled into this new house a few years ago. I really want to start to make some of those friendships with my kids' friends' parents, right? So I was very intentional about how I wanted to show up, how I wanted that first impression to be. And you want there to be that consistency in the relationship. So I found this to be super, super helpful, because some days I was racing from work to get there and I was in my own head, or traffic, or I also teach. So sometimes it was a really stressful day teaching and that was in my head, and I would get to work or I would get to the fence, and that would be the energy that I'd be bringing in. But when my alarm went off and it got to the point where I didn't even necessarily have to look at it anymore, I felt a buzz in my pocket, or I heard it buzz in the car, and I'm like, yep. And I'd say the words and I would go, and it would completely shift my energy. So this is a really, really great practice to implement for yourself. So get those words.
I like what Cassandra girl, we need to talk. I saw you brought up John Maxwell, Les Brown. We need to talk. Please book a call with me if you haven't. We'll drop the link. I love talking to all of you. We're all like-minded people.
Yeah.
All right. So please do book a call with me. So she says, before I have a meeting, I want people to feel inspired, joyful, and empowered. You and me, girl, we talking the same language. Same here. That's how we want to show up, right? That's how we want to leave them feeling. That's really bringing in true leadership. Thank you for sharing that.
Excellent.
In my opinion.
No, absolutely. In my humble opinion. All right. So moving along in our workbook, you're going to see social clarity exercise.
Umber just texted her brother to ask what words that he would describe. And he says, loving, driven, persistent, organized, and emotional. He's like, I'm overwhelmed. I can imagine. I can feel it. Because look, you'll be surprised what people will say, right? We get in this thing that, oh, they're always upset with me or whatever. It's not about you. Well, how people react is not even about you. Umber, you and I, we've had this conversation, right? It's not always about you. It's something going on their end. Once you start to really see that, and when you become self-aware, then you can become other-aware. And then you can start seeing that it's not always about you. Did you go through the bringing this up?
Yes. So in the workbook at the very end of that clarity chart, the one side is the self words that we did the other day, and there's a spot for the interaction words that we're talking about. And there's a little bit of an explanation at the top if you're doing this later on, or if you want to print off the workbook after or look at it online, that's there for you as well.
It's page 13. It's called the clarity chart. This is your tool to keep with you either on your fridge, on your desk, whatever, but you want to keep one for yourself and then social interactions. Okay. So there's two things so that how is yourself, your best defined self is showing up in whatever that you're doing for yourself or for others. And then your social interactions. How do you want to leave people? How do you want to show up as your best self there? Some of them may be the same words, but you may try different circumstances, different meeting. You may want to show up a little bit differently, right? With your friend, maybe different than how you show up in a business meeting, right? So you want to make sure that you do that. Yes, use that link that Rachel sent to you to book a call with me. I'd love to speak to you.
Awesome. So now, guys, we've gotten really clear, right? We're starting to think about what does that dream team mean to me? What does that vision look like? What do I want them to do more of? Whether this is in your business, your family, maybe you are now thinking about other people to add to your dream team, maybe a nutritional coach, maybe a fitness coach, depending on where you're at and what you're looking to accomplish. I want to take you into the future. And now you're showing up every day as your best, highest possible self. Okay. 2021, you have killed it, girl. Like you have crushed 2021. Incredibly successful for you in your personal life and your business. So let's celebrate. Close your eyes for a second. Okay. It's December 31st, New Year's Eve. Hopefully we're going to an in-person party. That is my dream right now, right? We're back to in-person parties and we're celebrating and we're thinking back on 2021. And yes, it has its challenges, but you had so many successes, so many accomplishments. What are you celebrating with the people closest to you? Okay? What are those accomplishments? I want you to think about it. I want you to visualize it. As long as you're not driving, close your eyes.
Oh, please don't be driving.
Right? And really think about it in your business. Maybe the health goals that you've had for yourself for this year. Maybe the relationship goals that you've had for yourself this year. Because now you've got those people. All the rest of this year, you've got those people, that support in place. So what are you celebrating? So good.
How many, clients are you working with or have put through whatever it is that if you were sell product, how much product have you sold? How many team members do you have? What is it that you're really celebrating with them? Where are you? I see Alexis and I at a resort with our families, having fun, maybe with some of our clients that we could be there, like really having fun. Like we don't have to take care of anything. We're just taking care of having fun, relaxed, because we had a great 2021 because we served 100 clients in 2021, right? So what does it look like for you? I've hired a gourmet chef because I'm not a cook. I like to cook on occasion, but not on a daily basis. So that would be really nice to have a gourmet chef. You know?
So what does that look like? I want you to write it down. Write it down in your notebook, on a piece of scrap paper. I don't care, but get it out of your head and write it down.
Yeah.
Now, how are you going to hold yourself accountable to make this dream a reality? What do you need to put in place today to get yourself started on this path? Right? It's April. I don't know the exact day. What is it? The 7th?
Yes.
So the days blend together, but it's April 7th, right? You still got time. There's still a lot of 2021 left. Okay, so what are you going to do? What do you need to put in place for yourself? Who do you need to add to your team? What conversations do you need to have?
Oh, this is what I'm talking about. She says, I don't know who wrote this. It says Facebook user. One of my goals is to grow my business so that my husband can come home and do what he wants to do in his life. She goes, is that crazy? No, it's not crazy.
No, it's beautiful.
He has worked so hard to support me. I want to reward him. I'm right there with you.
Me too.
My husband has supported me through my ambitions, my career, my health, everything. Me and my daughters, he's really he's done a lot. I'm where I am because of him. And I tell him that all the time. And I would love to retire him so that he can just do whatever he wants.
That's awesome. I know. I just said to my friend, I'm like, I know I've hit that initial level of success when I can buy my husband his Range Rover. That's what he says every year. Can we get a Range Rover this year? I'm like, not this year, but we'll get there.
Not this year. At least you're saying, no, that's not going to happen. It's just not this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? So tapping into that, not only do you have clarity in what you want to achieve and the actions that you have to take, you now got that motivation, that why behind why you do what you do. And sometimes it's so easy to lose sight of that in the day-to-day grind, right? And Mehreen and I, right? High performance lifestyle is not about the daily grind. That it could be farther from the daily grind. Yes, we accomplish stuff, right? We get stuff done. We do a lot. Sometimes when I tell my girlfriends, I'm like, oh, we're working on this. We've got a masterclass coming up. We got some podcast things going on. We got this. I'm speaking at this event. They're like, oh my God, I'm tired just listening to you. But I'm not. I'm living my best life every single day. Right? I am honoring the struggle because there's days it is challenging. But I'm grateful for every single one of those days. Right?
I have to share this one. I'm not sure who it is, but it says, my end of year goal is to have my finances in place where I can spend more time with my family. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. Ready? Coach Mehreen is coming through. Okay. You start spending time with your family and start building your calendar so that you have that. It's not about how much time. It's when those times that you do spend, it's about the quality of that time. Alexis taught me this.
Yeah. If you've got kids or if you're just talking about, extended family or a partner, but I have young kids, and the number of times I said, oh, well, when they get to school, we'll do this. When they leave the house, my kids are only 3 and 7, but I am just like, this is the time, right? I have friends. I learn from Mehreen. I learn from you all the time, whose kids are teenagers and they're almost out of the house. Yeah. It's like, I'm trying to learn to cherish every moment, right? And every moment with a 3-year-old is not always cherishable. But it's the quality. They don't need you every second of every day. They don't need you 24/7, right? They don't want you 24/7.
Yeah, they don't need, absolutely. They don't need you 24/7.
No, the time that you have for them, the time that you spend with them, they should get all of you, right? That's what they're going to remember.
Yeah, and this mom guilt, okay, this is a big one. Mom guilt is real. The struggle is so real. And you have to take that down a notch. Actually, try and eliminate it. You're doing the best that you can. No matter what you'll do, I promise you when they grow up, they're going to say, you didn't do this, you didn't do. They'll find things, just like we did with our parents. Even though now we have more grace, we understand that they did the best that they could. Have that compassion for yourself. Our kids don't come with a manual, okay? Also, I mean, we're dual working families nowadays, right? Dual income families now. It's not like it used to be. It's not like the wife gets to stay home, take care of the kids, and when we are striving to put them in the best schools, be in the good neighborhoods, all these things, it takes something, right? It takes something. So don't remove that guilt. You're doing the best that you can, Mom. The best as you can, and what you're doing is perfect for what you're doing. Now, if you're intentional with your time, you're totally perfect, who you are and how you're being. And they love you regardless. They're going to keep coming back.
Amazing. So how are you going to keep yourself on track? How are you going to keep yourself accountable? How are you going to keep that vision alive and motivating you every day? Okay. So in the homework thread for today, we want to share what accomplishments are you celebrating on December 31st, 2021, because we want to celebrate with you, right?
And we want details, right? What is it that you've done in your business or with your team? What goals have you accomplished? How are you feeling? Put your emotion behind it. Say, I'm elated, or I'm excited, or I'm celebrating, whatever it is, and paint us a picture. I know this is going to be some writing, but you really want to embody yourself in it and be able to describe it. Because when you are able to vividly describe it, then you're actually living it. And when you start to actually live it, you start to manifest it. Okay? So you really want to do that. Think about that you're daydreaming and you're building that dream for yourself. Like, remember when we were in my kids, I'm like, what are you guys doing in your room all the time? They're like, we're having our dream world. I remember when we were kids, we do these like fantasy worlds for ourselves, I guess. When you read a lot of books and stuff, you're just running. That's what you want to do. You do want to spend time. And when you write it down here in your work, we'll be going into that. Be writing it down there and really embody it. Put it somewhere so you can remember.
Yeah. And write it in the present tense. That was the other thing. Whether you're writing it in your workbook or you're putting it in the homework thread, write it as though you are celebrating it now, right? I am so excited to be celebrating the fact that we finally hit 6 figures, 7 figures. I've added 4 team members. I'm so excited that, I'm so grateful that, and then write it as though it's happened. Write it in present tense. Okay. We're going to turn that homework thread into New Year's Eve party 2021. Okay. Yeah. There's so much power behind it, guys. I can't stress it enough.
All right. So that's the homework. Make sure that you post that in the homework thread so we can catch it. And tomorrow, let's talk about tomorrow. So tomorrow is day 4. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the limitless mindset, which makes you the limitless CEO, bottom line. Okay. We got to eradicate all those limiting beliefs that you have. We need to and it took years, right? Years that you've been living this way. So it's going to take some work, and there's going to be some challenges. Your mind is going to play all kinds of games with you. And we were going to be talking about that tomorrow. So make sure that you're here tomorrow. Also, tomorrow we're going to announce bonus winners. So you want to make sure you're here tomorrow and make sure you've done all the homework. Make sure you've done all the comments, because we're capturing all of that to see who are our most top engagers. And then we're going to do a drawing. Okay. So that's happening tomorrow. And if you haven't talked to me yet, or Alexis yet, please book that call. We're waiting. We want to talk and connect with you. Some of you have talked to in the DMs, but I still, meeting over Zoom, I love to meet people in person. Even though not in person, but virtually, you can still get that energy, that vibe. So please, I invite you to have a conversation. You've got our link. Let me put it back up here. Yeah, you got our link. That's there. Oh, one other bonus that you still have the opportunity for. You have until end of day Friday. Invite 5 friends into this workshop, and whatever if they're dealing with their own self-leadership, they're up to something. They could be running their own private practice. Think about even doctors and lawyers or engineers or entrepreneurs or people who are in management positions. You heard what we're talking about. We're not just talking about building that dream team in a business. We're talking about a dream team in your community, in your overall circle, your ecosystem, right? So that if you know anybody that needs to hear this, they're driven women, and you see that they could benefit from it, invite them and let your concierge know who you invited. And then we'll bring them in, make sure that they're taken care of and that they get caught up, because all of these videos are coming down at midnight on Tuesday night. So they have the weekend to binge watch it through. Yeah, so we'll send them the link for that too, and they'll get the workbook. So invite that, and that gets you into our bonus workshop that we're doing on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. For those of you who invited friends, you get VIP access to that. We normally charge thousands for this workshop, where you get to get the tools that people use to achieve their 1-year goal in 90 days. And it happens. It actually truly does happen. We have a client right now who has achieved that, and you're going to hear from her on Sunday. All right. So you want to take advantage of that. You do want to take advantage of that and get in there. And if those of you who still want to get in, have a conversation with me or Alexis, and let's see what else we can create for you. Okay.
And if you can't make it live to Saturday's workshop, don't worry, you'll get a replay link sent to you after. So if you're like, oh, I are doing stuff on Saturday, you'll be able to get it. You'll still be able to follow along. We create it so that even if you're watching it after, you can still get a ton of value out of it.
Yeah. In the guides in the group, you'll see there's a bonus challenge thing. All the details are there, or you can ask your concierge. If you don't know who your concierge is, put it in the comments below. I don't know who my concierge is. All of you should know by now, but I think there was a few new people who jumped on. So I want to make sure we capture them. All right, that's day 3 in the books. And we are on for day 4 tomorrow. So I'm excited to see what the comments that'll be coming in and seeing what your dream December 31st, 2021, what we'll be celebrating with you. And hey, let's talk. Book a call with us. The link's right here. All right, talk to you all later. Bye.